Maya Lawson had spent years behind a camera, capturing what most people believed were the happiest moments of their lives. Engagements, weddings, anniversaries, smiles, laughter, tears of joy. To everyone else, it was all picture perfect. But to Maya, it was something deeper. She didn't just see poses. She saw pauses. She didn't just hear laughter. She heard the silence between it. And over time, she had developed something she couldn't quite explain. A feeling. A quiet voice in her mind that whispered when something wasn't right. It started as a joke. "Give me an hour with any couple," she once told her assistant Leo while packing up gear after a shoot. "And I can tell you if they'll last." Leo had laughed. "You? A photographer or a relationship psychic?" Maya had shrugged with a half smile. "Neither. I just notice things." But the truth was, she noticed everything. One late summer afternoon in Brooklyn, Maya arrived at a rooftop for an engagement shoot. The skyline was glowing in golden light, the kind photographers dream about. Everything was perfect, except the couple. Ethan showed up first. Casual, relaxed, wearing jeans and a wrinkled shirt like he was heading to a coffee shop. 10 minutes later, Claire arrived. In a flowing, elegant dress, her hair styled like she was walking into a magazine shoot. Maya paused. Two different worlds, two different energies. "Hey, you must be Maya," Claire said brightly. Ethan gave a small nod, barely looking up from his phone. Maya smiled politely, but inside, that quiet voice stirred. As they began shooting, the disconnect became clearer. Claire was excited, full of ideas. She wanted romantic poses, laughter, movement. Ethan just followed instructions like he was taking off a chore. "Can we try something a little more natural?" Claire suggested. Ethan sighed. "We've already been here for 20 minutes. Claire's smile flickered, just for a second, but Maya caught it. By the end of the hour, Maya didn't need more time. As she packed her camera, Leo leaned in and whispered, "Well, what's the verdict?" Maya didn't answer right away. She just watched them, standing side by side, yet somehow miles apart. "They're not in the same story," she said quietly. A few months later, Claire emailed. The wedding was off. That was when Leo stopped laughing. Maya never claimed to be right every time, but she had seen enough patterns to trust her instincts. And over the years, those patterns became impossible to ignore. One of the biggest signs? Lack of connection before the camera even came out. She remembered another couple, Daniel and Sophie. They arrived at a beach shoot just before sunset. From a distance, they looked perfect. Matching outfits, coordinated colors, soft smiles. But something felt rehearsed. "Okay, just walk along the shoreline," Maya instructed. They did, but their hands barely touched. Their steps weren't in sync. Every movement felt calculated, like they were following a script instead of living a moment. "Can you guys talk to each other? Maybe share something funny?" Maya suggested. Sophie laughed, loud, exaggerated. Daniel forced a chuckle, and then silence. A heavy, uncomfortable silence that even the sound of waves couldn't hide. Later, while reviewing the photos, Maya noticed something chilling. They looked perfect, but they didn't look real. Another red flag Maya had learned to spot was something most people ignored: how couples spoke to each other when they thought no one was paying attention. At a countryside wedding, she met Ryan and Lily. At first, everything seemed normal. The ceremony was beautiful, the guests were cheerful, and the couple looked happy. But during the photo shoot, small cracks began to show. "Turn your head slightly," Maya said gently. Lily adjusted, but Ryan frowned. "No, not like that," he snapped. "You always mess this up." Maya froze for a second. Lily's face fell, but she quickly forced a smile. Sorry. Just listen properly, Ryan muttered. Maya felt a knot tighten in her chest. It wasn't just what he said, it was how easily he said it. Like this wasn't new, like this was normal. She stepped in quickly, her voice warm but firm. Hey, you're both doing great. Let's keep it light, okay? This is supposed to be fun. Lily glanced at her grateful. Ryan just shrugged. Later, Leo whispered, That guy's intense. Maya shook her head slightly. It's not intensity, it's something else. What? Disrespect, disguised as honesty. Months passed. Then one day, Lily reached out, not for photos, but for something else. A quiet message. They had separated. Maya sat in silence after reading it, not surprised. Just sad. There were other signs too. Subtle, almost invisible, but powerful. Like humor. Not the kind that makes both people laugh, but the kind that leaves one person shrinking. During a winter shoot in Manhattan, Maya worked with a couple named Alex and Nina. At first, they seemed playful, teasing each other, laughing, joking around. But then, the jokes started to change. Don't get too close, Alex joked as Nina leaned in. You'll ruin the shot. Nina laughed, but it didn't reach her eyes. A few minutes later, Wow, you actually got that pose right, Alex said. I'm impressed. Again, Nina smiled. Again, something felt off. Maya watched carefully. Every joke had a target. Every laugh had a cost. During a break, Maya pulled Nina aside. You're doing amazing, she said softly. Nina blinked, surprised. Really? Absolutely. For a moment, Nina's smile became real, and that told Maya everything she needed to know. Because love, real love, doesn't tear down. It lifts up. But perhaps the most alarming sign Maya had ever witnessed was anger. Not loud, explosive anger, but quiet, simmering frustration that could turn physical in seconds. At one engagement shoot, things took a sudden turn. The couple, Mark and Jenna, were struggling with a pose. Just tilt your head a bit, Maya guided. Jenna tried, but it wasn't quite right. Mark exhaled sharply. Why is this so hard for you? I'm trying, Jenna said, her voice small. No, you're not, he snapped. And then without thinking, he grabbed her arm to adjust her position. Not violently, but not gently either. Time seemed to stop. Maya stepped forward immediately. Hey, let's take a break. Mark let go. Jenna rubbed her arm, avoiding eye contact. The rest of the shoot was quiet. Too quiet. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. Because she knew this wasn't about posing. This was about control. Over the years, Maya had seen it all. Couples who looked perfect but felt empty. Couples who argued like it was second nature. Couples who joked, but only at each other's expense. And couples who crossed lines they shouldn't. But what stayed with her the most were the moments no one else noticed. The quick glance of annoyance, the forced smile, the silence after a joke. Those were the real stories. One evening, after a long day of editing photos, Leo looked up from his laptop. Does it ever get to you? He asked. Maya paused. What do you mean? Seeing all this, knowing how things might end. She thought for a moment. Yeah, she admitted. Sometimes. Then why keep doing it? Maya looked at one of the photos on her screen. A couple laughing genuinely, completely lost in each other. Because sometimes, she said softly, you also get to see the real ones. The couples who couldn't stop smiling. The ones who supported each other without even trying. The ones who made everything feel easy. And those moments, they made everything worth it. One day, after sharing her experiences in a short video online, Maya didn't expect much reaction. But within days, it spread everywhere. People were fascinated. Can you judge our relationship? Can we book a session just for your opinion? Tell us the signs. Maya was overwhelmed. She had never intended to become some kind of relationship expert. She was just a photographer, but maybe people needed to hear it. Because deep down, many already knew the truth. They just needed someone to say it out loud. So if you've made it this far, take a moment and think, really think, about the relationships around you, or even your own. And if this story made you see something differently, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps more stories like this reach the people who might need them most. Because sometimes the signs are right in front of us. We just choose not to see them. And that choice can change everything. After Maya's video spread across the internet, her life changed in ways she never expected. Her inbox filled overnight, messages from strangers, couples, even people who had never met her but somehow felt like she understood them. Can you tell if we're okay? Do you think we'll last? Please be honest. Maya would sit there staring at her screen, unsure how to respond. Because the truth was, she couldn't predict the future. She never could. All she ever did was notice what others ignored. But what scared her wasn't the questions. It was how many people already seemed to know the answer, before even asking. One message stood out. It was from a woman named Eliza, short, simple, but heavy. I think I'm in one of the relationships you described. Maya hesitated before replying. Then she typed slowly. What makes you feel that way? The reply came almost instantly. He jokes about me a lot in front of people, says it's just humor, but I don't feel good. And lately, I feel smaller. Maya leaned back in her chair. That word again, smaller. She had heard it before. Not always spoken, but always visible. In the way someone avoided eye contact. In the way they laughed half a second too late. In the way they slowly disappeared in their own relationship. Maya replied gently, "You deserve to feel safe and respected. Always." But even as she sent the message, she knew something important. Advice was easy to give. Living it was something else entirely. And a few weeks later, Maya was booked for another engagement shoot. This one felt different from the start. The couple, Noah and Priya, arrived together, laughing before they even reached her. There was no tension, no awkwardness, just ease. "Sorry we're late," Priya said, slightly out of breath. "We got distracted arguing about which coffee place is better." Noah laughed. "It's not an argument. I'm clearly right." Priya nudged him. "You wish." Maya watched them closely. They teased each other, but there was warmth in it. They disagreed, but there was respect. It was balanced. As the shoot went on, something became very clear. They weren't performing. They weren't trying to look like a perfect couple. They were just being one. "Can you two walk toward me?" Maya asked. They did, naturally in sync without thinking. No instructions needed. At one point, Priya tripped slightly on uneven ground. Before she could even react, Noah caught her, instinctively. "Careful," he said softly. "I'm okay," she smiled. "You sure?" "Yeah." That moment stayed with Maya. Because it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't staged, it was real. Later that evening, while reviewing the photos, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in a while. Peace. Leo walked in, holding a cup of coffee. "Well," he asked, "what's your intuition saying this time?" Maya smiled faintly. "They'll be okay?" Leo raised an eyebrow. "That confident?" "For once, yeah." But not every story had that kind of quiet certainty. A month later, Maya found herself at a large wedding in New Jersey. Everything was extravagant. Flowers everywhere, music, lights, a massive guest list. From the outside, it looked like a dream. But the moment Maya met the couple, Jason and Emily, something felt heavy, not obvious, just there. During the preparation, Emily sat quietly as her makeup was done. Her friends chatted around her, excited, emotional. But Emily barely spoke. "You okay?" one of her bridesmaids asked. Emily nodded quickly. "Yeah, just nervous?" Maya watched from a distance. Nervous was normal. But this felt different. Later, during the photo shoot, Jason seemed distracted, checking his phone, giving short answers, avoiding eye contact. "Can you stand a little closer?" Maya suggested. They did, but their bodies stayed stiff, like two people standing side by side, not together. "Maybe hold hands," Maya added. Jason hesitated just for a second before reaching out. Emily took his hand. But there was no squeeze, no connection, just contact. Maya felt that familiar knot in her chest again. The ceremony went on. Vows were exchanged, guests cheered. Everything unfolded exactly as it should. But something inside Maya whispered, "This isn't right." Weeks passed. Life moved on. Until one day, an email arrived. It was from Emily. "Hi, Maya. I don't know if you remember me. You photographed my wedding recently." Maya already knew. "We're getting divorced." There was more. A lot more. But Maya didn't need to read it all to understand. She closed her laptop slowly and sat there in silence. Because no matter how many times she saw it happen, it never got easier. That night, she called Leo. "I think I hate this part of my job," she admitted. Leo was quiet for a moment. "Yeah, I get that. It's like watching a story you already know the ending to, and not being able to change it." Leo sighed. "Maybe you're not supposed to change it." Maya frowned. "Then what's the point?" There was a pause. Then Leo said something that stayed with her. "Maybe the point is helping people see it sooner." Maya didn't respond right away. But deep down, she knew he was right. Because the signs were never truly hidden. They were just uncomfortable. The way someone rolls their eyes when their partner speaks. The way they interrupt, constantly. The way they dismiss feelings instead of listening. Small things. But small things grow. And sometimes they grow into something you can't ignore anymore. A few days later, Maya received another message. It was from Eliza again. "I left him." Maya's heart skipped. "It was hard, really hard, but I kept thinking about what you said and how I felt, and I realized I don't want to feel small anymore." Maya smiled, a real, genuine smile. "Thank you," the message ended. For the first time in a long while, Maya felt something different. Not sadness, not doubt, but purpose. Because maybe her role wasn't just to capture moments. Maybe it was to reflect truth. Not everyone would listen. Not everyone was ready. But some were. And for those people, it mattered. Months later, Maya stood once again behind her camera, watching another couple step into the frame. She didn't know their story yet, didn't know how it would end, but she knew one thing. The truth would always be there, in the pauses, in the silence. And if you pay attention, you'll see it too. Because love isn't just about big moments. It's about the small ones, the quiet respect, the gentle support, the way someone makes you feel when no one else is watching. So if something feels off, don't ignore it. And if something feels right, hold on to it. Because in the end, the strongest relationships aren't the loudest. They're the ones that feel like home. And the biggest lesson, love should never make you feel less than who you are. It should make you feel more. That's how you know it's real. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.